Hi everyone. I would like to start with clearing up what is an aromatase inhibitor and an estrogen blocker. So in the previous videos, I might have been calling Arimidex an estrogen blocker. However, it is a aromatase inhibitor. Um, I have tried. So estrogen blockers are actually things like Nolvadex, tamoxifen, right, and Clomid, clomiphene. I've tried both of them, and they just didn't seem to work at all, because they are supposed to be mild. They are not supposed to, they're just like a weaker version of aromatase inhibitors. So in reality, what I've been using is aromatase inhibitors, um, and that's the only thing that really seems to work for estrogen block. For getting rid of water retention and probably other side effects from aromatizing, converting testosterone into estrogen, and also just hormonal imbalances, because you will deal with hormonal imbalances a lot if you're using well, you know I dealt with them when I was using a lot of compounds and different medications. Now Arimidex, I was researching a little bit more to see what's available and experiment more with aromatase inhibitors. And turns out that Arimidex, the thing that I use most, is one of the most optimal things to use. Um, Now, I could definitely. So I already doubled my Arimidex dose the last time I used it. To 2 milligrams a day, and I could already tell, like, there's still a wall that I cannot cross with that dose. So I heard on some podcast from a serious pro bodybuilder, was talking about something called Femara letrozole. Um, and yeah, it is available for me to purchase. It is more expensive. However, and it's significantly stronger than Arimidex, supposedly. Um, I remember vividly him describing what happened once he took Femara. He stacked it with something else as well, but he describes how he was taking one AI, aromatase inhibitor, AI, and he stacked Femara on top, and overnight he dropped like 5 or 7 pounds, I think, in weight, and his whole bed was wet and it was all just water. So this is the similar effects to what I have with Arimidex. Mm. It's by almost overnight, and you're just leaner. You're just so much leaner. I mean, you're just getting rid of all this water. So again, I'll mention I am not on any AIs or estrogen blockers. I'm just doing a small amount of diuretic and Viagra, which is not so optimal. It's not very optimal for the level of leanness that I'm going for here, but it is what it is. Now, oh, and there's also something called Aromasin, which is also an AI. So I hear I've seen a lot of people recommend Aromacin, but from my research, it is just a weaker version of Arimidex and a way weaker version of Femara. Also, it's worth mentioning that many of these people use Masteron and Trenbolone as well, which suppress, they suppress estrogen as well. Or at the very least, Trenbolone doesn't aromatize, and gives you more testosterone, which now I still suspect that I would bloat on Trenbolone. I only took a small dose for a very short period of time, and I immediately stopped it. I just thought, I don't think I need that at that moment in time, and I was just left with the bottle stashed away like a little souvenir. However, okay, now let's get into another thing. All right, so I've mentioned before how your caloric intake, how you get more hungry when you exercise more and you have more physical activity. So how that's not very optimal for actual weight loss and achieving the leanest look possible. However, something else came to mind. Every time I work, maybe I have to run around and do a lot of stuff for work. What I've noticed is an increased level of horniness from physical, extended physical activity. And what that means is physical activity will promote production of testosterone, which in turn converts to estrogen, which in turn gives me more bloat. Now, it's just a theory, but it is there too. It's just there to be considered as, However, I will say, oftentimes if I do physical exercise, meaning work, that maybe I have to go run around and, get things done. Then for a whole day, sometimes, I might work for 12, 14 hours, right? Just constantly on my feet, maybe I have to, organize an event or whatever. Then I have, sometimes my face might be slightly leaner, I might get slightly leaner, but sometimes I might get more water retention. So it's a little bit of a gamble here, and this is why I use compounds and medications to control my random reactions of my body. Whatever it decides on that day, it's just not the way to go for me, right? Oh, maybe this happened and I did this, and and then the body decides to do something, to keep more water, or maybe, it resulted in me retaining more water. So by far, AIs have had the most beneficial effects on keeping that in control. And the more you take, the more in control you are. Also, while researching new AIs, I was met with warnings, right? Oh, you're gonna feel like crap, you're going to yeah, I don't really feel that much worse on it. on AIs, on powerful dose of Arimidex, I don't really feel much worse. If in anything, I feel more drive. I feel more energy. You know, yeah, there's some anxiety, but and there's obviously a shift in your mental state, but I do not have anything bad to say about that state it puts you in. It just seems to give me way more energy and blocks my appetite, um, if anything. Um, and yeah, I probably will be trying Femara at some point. And currently, I'll just continue with Arimidex when I can get my hands on it again. Um, and So another thing is I don't plan to take to a high dose of Arimidex the whole time. I plan to actually take just like a regular dose daily, and then spike it whenever I want to crash my estrogen more. Whenever I want to get rid of my more water, I'll just increase the dose on that day or for a few days, and then lower it back again. There's no need to maybe be on Arimidex at a high dose for for the whole for I don't know for how long however long I will decide to be on it. Right, and perhaps it's worth mentioning the libido situation. That's also a thing to consider with AIs, is that your libido will be gone, and Viagra increases your libido by a lot within an hour. However, even with Viagra, if you're crashing your estrogen and you're crashing your testosterone a bit too, maybe, or just not, you don't have very high testosterone in general, your libido will tank. I mean, my libido tanks completely. So, in a way, you could say, oh, it actually sometimes helps because it helps you focus a lot too. You're just not thinking about, you just don't feel like, looking for somebody, let's just say. However, that's a funny thing to bring up. When I was on doing the master on the wrong way. So yeah, you will not be horny basically on AIs, or something like master on will probably make you less horny. Although it depends, that's not an AI really, because it still has properties that AIs don't. But you still might feel like you need somebody sometimes, but in a different way. It's very weird and strange. But overall, you will not be chasing for a new girlfriend or your current girlfriend. You will not really be. It will tank your libido. That's for sure. And every time I feel really bad, maybe from something. There was times where I felt really bad because I was eating, but actually not eating, especially when you're on compounds. I don't know. It feels good sometimes. Actually, most of the time it feels good. That's the thing about appetite suppression, is you actually feel good and you start to like and enjoy being lean and not eating. As long as you drink a lot of sugar water, so you're still having a caloric intake. I recommend tea and coffee though, so you have that caffeine boost as well. That really, so you don't even really think you don't correlate food with energy anymore. You just correlate caffeine and sugar in liquid form. Now this is important. Do not be eating candy out there. You know, do not just be eating sugar cubes. You know, I recommend drinking it with caffeine, right? But yeah, the worse you feel, there's a high chance that the better you look. This anytime I felt really crap, looking back, I was looking my best. It's just the reality here, and you know, it gets into a deeper topic here, where as a man, you don't really look for happiness. You just look for peace, or I guess you know, progress. Um, so, um, but then again, I guess looking good gives you happiness. I don't know, but it gives you better outcomes, that's for sure. So, looking better at least. All right, thank you all for watching, and if you like coaching from me or any help, then DM me or email me, and I'm here to help you. Thank you for watching again, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.